या देवी स्तूयते नित्यं विबुधैर्वेदपारगैः सा मे वसतु जिह्वाग्रे ब्रह्मरूपा सरस्वती। नमामि नारायणपादपङ्कजं करोमि नारायणपूजनं सदा वदामि नारायणनामनिर्मलं स्मरामि नारायणतत्त्वमव्ययम्. Invoking the grace of Goddess Saraswati, Guru Ayyappan, Mahaperiyava and Guru Parampara, we are now entering into Dasakam 14, titled Kapilopakyanam. This Dasakam, the syllables in each line are 11, and therefore the entire one canto comprises 44 syllables, almost like a Trishtup. It is 11, and it is named as the meter is called Vasantabalika. We will now enter into the first verse. Samanusmrita Tabakangri Yukmaha Samanuh Pangaja Sambhavanga Janma Nijamantara Mantaraya Hinam Charitam Te Kathayan Sukham Ninaya. Samanusmrita Tabakangri Yukmaha Samanuh Pangaja Sambhavanga Janma Samanuh Pangaja Sambhavanga Janma Nijamantara Mantaraya Hinam Charitam Te Kathayan Sukham Ninaya. Anvaya. Pangaja Sambhavanga Janma Sahamanu. This should be Pankajas Sambhavasya Angajanma Putraha. Samanusprita Tabakangri Yugmaha Te Charitam Katayan Nijam Antaram Antarayahinam Sukham Ninaya. Meaning like this. Pankaja Sambhavanga Janma Samanuhu. Samanu means that Manu who is the son of Brahma. Brahma is described as Pankaja Sambhavang, who is one of the lotus, from the lotus of the Vishnu. No? So he is called Pankaja Sambhavanga, means the Brahma. So that Manu, the son of Brahma. Pankaja Sambhavasya Angajanmaha Putraha. That is the Vyutpatti. Samanusmrita Tabakangri Yugmaha. Meditating properly on thy pair of the lotus feet. Angri Yugmaha means the pair, the two foot, they are called the Angri Yugmaha. Thy pair of lotus feet. Tabakangri Yugmaha. Samanusmritaha means meditating properly or completely. Te Charitam Katayan. Narrating accounts of thy incarnations. Nijam Antaran. Nijam Antaram means his own Manvantara. Antaraya Hinam, free from all hindrances. Antaraya means hindrances or obstacles. Sukham Ninaya, passed happily. Swayambhava Manu, the son of Brahma, spent his Manvantara happily without any hindrance or obstacles to his administration, always engaged in meditating on thy lotus feet and narrating accounts of thy incarnations or narrating the glorious history. This Dasaka 14 is coming in Bhagavata 3, Tritiya Skandam, chapters 21 to 24. These are condensed in this Dasaka. Here the mention is made as a Swayambhuva Manu. I think as I have already covered earlier in Dasaka 8 verse 7, where I mentioned that the Brahmaji's one day is comprising 1000 Chaturyugas. So one day means 4.32 billion years or 432 crores. Now this one day is divided over 14 Manus. So each of them ruling around 71.4 Chaturyugas. Roughly it will be around 31 crores years each Manu. Here the mention is made as only Manu, but it is understood here as the Swayambhuva Manu because it's the start of the creation. For information, the 14 Manus are like this: Swayambhuva, Swarocha, Autama, Tamasa, Raivata, Chakshusha, Vaivasvata, Savarsha, Brahma Savarsha, Rudra Savarna, Brahma Savarna, Rudra Savarni, Indra Savarni, Daksha Savarni, Dharma Savarni, Deva Savarni. Like these 14 are there. So the Swayambhuva Manu comes first in the Manus. So that's why it's the start of the creation should be implied that it is Swayambhuva Manu. It can be taken that way. Ours covers now coming is the Vaivasvata Manu, that is the 7th in the order. This is for the information. Now it's mentioned that Manu lived happily and peacefully during this period. Now this is the experience of a Utkrishta Jnani, a devotee number 1, who is leading a life of yoga with Yama and Niyama discipline. Patanjali Ashtanga Yoga talks of Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, etc. So in the Yama Niyama is a very important discipline there. Yama represents what are the don'ts and Niyama represents what are the do's to be done. This is also considered in our Vedas also as the Samanya Dharma. Briefly, just thought I will touch upon that also. Yama also means that the don'ts, that is a Nisheda, means Satyam, that means avoidance of Asatyam, not to speak untruth. Ahimsa, avoidance of harm to others in thought, word and deeds. Asteyam, not to have the possession of illegitimate wealth or steal someone else's wealth. It's called Asteyam. Brahmacharyam, avoidance of illegitimate sexual relationship, or it is called Maithuna Varjanam. Brahmacharya elsewhere also is talked about. Brahma means Veda, Charati means Veda Adhyanartham Padam Charati is called Brahmachari. So it could be interpreted in two ways. As a don't, it is said Maithuna Varjanam, avoidance of illegitimate sexual relationship. Then Aparigraha, avoidance of too much of wealth, hoarding or overpossession of even legitimate wealth. Earlier it was said that you should not possess illegitimate wealth in Asteyam. Here it said Aparigraha means even legitimate wealth you should not have too much. These are the don'ts prescribed in Nisheda. This is coming part of the Samanya Dharma also. Ahimsa, Satyam, Asteyam, Brahmacharyam, Aparigraha. Similarly, the Niyamas are also mentioned here as the 5 ones. The Shaucham, which is physical and mental purity. Santoshaha means positively developing a sense of contentment. Santushtaha, we can say it. Tapas means willful self-denial. Swadhyaya, willful self-denial to avoid slavery to our organs, because all the time we should not become a slave of our organs. A materialistic person, the organs rule over him. Therefore it is said that tapas is very important. Whenever we are master of our senses means we have got this tapas. So willful self-denial. Then swadhyayam means studying the scriptures, especially doing parayana, etc. Ishvara Pranipanam, worship of the Lord. So these are the 5 niyamas, do's which are prescribed as part of the Samanya Dharma. Saucham, Santoshaha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranipadanam. All these are very important. When a person leading a life of this nature with Yama and Niyama, automatically his mind turns inwards and it is able to have the darshan of the Lord. So here Manvantara Manu was leading such a life is mentioned here. You could have with this you could have the Atma Darshan and Shanti in worldly life. The samsara is avarana and vikshepa. The Maya Shakti is such that through avarana it covers the satyam, and through vikshepa it projects one as many. So through Maya Shakti is the cause of Maya Shakti is the mind itself. When I can keep the mind under control by disciplining the mind through yama niyama, I am able to directly direct my mind towards the Paramatma Satyam, or the absolute reality. One can experience that reality which is always Satyam only. This will enable the sadhak or the spiritual aspirant to gain happiness and peace in his life. Here Manu also led such a life during this, not a one, it's more than 30 crores years during his Manvantara. He did not have therefore any obstacles during this rule, and lived a life full of happiness and peace. Manu was also leading a life in the world. So, but at the same time, he was also remembering the Lord and remembering His glory at all times. This is how one should lead a life. He is also indirectly symbolized in this Dasakam. With this, we will now go to the second Dasakam. Second sloka. So the first verse, after completing that, we are now coming to the second verse. Samaye kalu tatra kardhamakyo druhinachaya bhavastadiya vacha drita sargaraso nisargaramyam bhagavam stva mayutam sama sisheve. Samaye kalu tatra kardhamakyo druhinachaya bhavastadiya vacha drita sargaraso nisargaramyam bhagavam stvamayutam sama sisheve. Anvaya. Tatra samaye kalu druhinachaya bhavaha. Druhina means again Brahma. Kardhamakyaha tadiya vacha drita sargarasaha. Bhagavan, or Hey Bhagavan, nisargaramyam tvam ayutam samaha sisheve. Tatra samaye kalu, at that very time, druhinachaya bhavaha, who was born from the shadow of Brahma. Druhinaha means here Brahma. Kardhamakyaha, the Prajapati named Kardama. Tadiya vacha, in accordance with his own or Brahma's words, Dhrita Sarga Rasaha, becoming keenly interested in creation. Hey Bhagavan, O Lord, Nisarga Ramyam Tvam, thou art naturally charming. Ayutam Samaha, Ayutam means 10,000. So Ayutam Samaha means for 10,000 years, Sisheve, worshipped. The meaning will be like this. O Lord, at that very time, Kardama, who was born from the shadow of Brahma, being keenly interested in creation, worshipped as commanded by Brahma, thee, who are naturally charming for 10,000 years. We'll discuss more of it in the next session. Bhave bhave yatha bhaktihi Padayo savajayate tata kurusha devesha natastvam no yata prabho nama sankirtanam yasya sarva bhava pranasanam pranamo dukkha samanaha tam namami harim param. Narayana akila guru bhagavan namaste. Hari Om. Ya devi stuyate nityam vibhudhair veda paragaihi same vasati jikhvagre brahma rupa saraswati. Namami narayana padabangajam karomi narayana pujanam sada vadami narayana namadrambalam smarami narayana tattvam abhyayam. Invoking the grace of Goddess Saraswati, Guru Vairappan, Mahaperiva and others in the Guru Parampara. We are now on Dasakam 14, completed verse number 2, the literal meaning in the last session. We will be moving on to the Bhavartha now in this session. Before I start this, I thought I wanted to make some kind of a talk to you. This session, what I called it as Narayaniam Talks. It is an informal classroom session. I want to make it very clear. So it is not any formal discourse or anything. The objective here is that both of us who are listening and myself, we are all learning it together. The Narayaniam verse by verse is chanted, meaning is given word by word, and also the Bhavartha also is explained. Now, to make it useful to you, maybe some of you may be doing, those who are not doing, I am making this announcement. I would expect that don't take this as a very casual talk, but make it as a classroom, informal classroom session. Keep the Narayaniam book with you when you are hearing. As I chant, you can also chant mentally or loudly also. Understand how it is split up, etc. It is an occasion for you to do Parayanam also indirectly. Digest the meaning, the word meaning which I am explaining. So while doing this, what I am doing is, I am rearranging the words in the prose order, that is called Anvaya. And wherever necessary, I am explaining the Vyutpatti also. That means the etymology. The Samasa, etc. also is there. And the Vigraha also is done there. There is a split up of the word is there to make us understand the meaning more clearly. So make use of this. As we chant, when we chant, the Parayanam has got what is called as it is Shabda Pradhana. So Shabda Pradhana gives some result, Adrishta Phala. But when it goes along with Shabda and Artha Pradhana, then the Phalam becomes 100%. So as we chant, our mind should be absorbed in that. And to make the mind absorbed, it is necessary that we also should know the meaning of what we are chanting, the verses. So when we are learning in this session the meaning, it will give us a greater interest. Most of you may be even chanting also, may be experts also. I do not want to say anything about that. But you will enjoy chanting next time when you know with the meaning. So the purpose is to make you know not only chanting, also to know the meaning. It is not only literal meaning, the word meaning also, but it is also to know the Bhavartha, so that we must know what is the ultimate goal. See, the ultimate pursuit in our life is Atma Jnana, Brahma Vidya. For that, we are using this textbook Narayaniam as a means for gaining an insight into this. It has got 100 dasakas. Each dasaka can be seen as a rung, one rung of the ladder, for reaching the higher end, Paramatma, end goal, final goal. It is said that for gaining the Atma Jnanam or self-knowledge, which is called the Advaita Jnanam, requires Dvaita Bhakti. So, Dvaita Bhakti, through Dvaita Bhakti only we can gain Advaita Jnanam. That means Dvaita Bhakti means where you involve Ishvara and the devotee. With the grace, with Anugraha of Ishvara only, we can gain this Jnanam. The Lord's Anugraha helps us first of all to create an Antakarana, a mind that is fit for learning. Our Antakarana should be free of the six-fold enemies, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, which make us more extroverted and not able to direct the mind or put the mind in the reverse gear in terms of making it go inside. For gaining this knowledge, for invoking the grace of the Lord, the mind has to be turned inwards. I have already explained last time, also talked about the Yama Niyama, where this has been brought out also. So therefore, it is very essential that we give it wholehearted attention. So when we are learning this automatically with total devotion, that devotion will help us in understanding the text much more clearly, whereby we get the grace. And through that grace, an Antakarana, which is pure mind, we will be in a position to gain the Atma Jnanam. Because the ultimate Purushartha is called Moksha. The Lord, the Nirguna Brahman is not separate from the Saguna Brahman. As I already explained earlier, Ishvara is the Saguna Brahman or the Apara Brahman, and the Para Brahman is Nirguna. The Ishvara also is the root is substratum is Brahman only, as Jiva we also. So therefore, we seek His blessings, we revel in His glory, we understand the Ishvara, and then thereby we also understand the Nirguna Brahman. We gain that knowledge, the Brahma Vidya, which is called also the ultimate wisdom, which helps us to have a union with the Lord and make us understand that what is there is only one, I am one with the Lord. So the ultimate goal to reach, we are doing this text. So Narayaniam is not just merely a text for making us chant efficiently or just knowing the meaning, but also to understand that we have to reach the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is the Advaita Jnana. Through Dvaita Bhakti, we gain the Advaita Jnana. This is very, very important for us. So this will bring about what is called, as I mentioned earlier also, a transformation in our personality. Do not worry about whether you will gain the knowledge in this Janma or next Janma. Make our efforts. Purushartha is important. If the Purushartha is there, the Ishvara Anugraha is there. Once the Purushartha Anugraha is there, we will be able to reach the goal. Do not worry about the time. But our efforts should be total. Intense devotion is required, as we have in our Laukika work. When we work in office, we work with total devotion, thereby we get the result. Here also, it is necessary. So therefore, make this as a classroom session. Keep the book with you when you are hearing this. Try to learn to chant, understand the meaning, assimilate it, and invoke the grace of the Lord for helping us to clear Antakarana and gain the Atma Jnanam. Because the Bhattacharya Bhatt throughout this has brought out the Guru Ayappan, brought out the glory of the Guru Ayappan, who is the Sagura Brahman. And his glory is helping us. He helped him also to come out of the ailment. So that he is bringing out the glory of the Lord, so that ultimately he could understand also the Nirguna aspect of the Guru Ayappan, the Nirguna Brahman. That's how he's relating. Towards the end of the Sagas, we'll find that aspect also coming out. So Saguna and Nirguna is combined in this Narayaniam. So that is why even when I'm taking the word by word meaning and explaining you also the Bhavartha, etc., I'm always bringing the what is that sadhak, as spiritual aspirant, what we should do. And therefore that aspect I'm trying to bring out, relating the Sarguna and Nirguna aspect together, which we should make full use of. So after hearing this, still if you have got doubts, your doubts will get cleared as gradually you proceed. As and when you grow in the spiritual ladder, get ourselves transformed, automatically we'll have better clarity. So no doubt about it, because Lord will take care. Do not have any doubt about it. Still, if you have got any doubts which are relevant, please, to this, what I am discussing with this text, you are free to raise your doubt, but do not present this doubt in any of these forums. In the Ayyappa group forum, or I understand other 2-3 forums are also there. You raise your doubts directly to me in WhatsApp in my personal number. I'm repeating the number, 97904-86968. I'm repeating again, 97904-86968. You can raise your doubts through WhatsApp, either in a recorded format or even in writing. Send to me. Do not please send it to the either Ayyappa group or other Chinmaya Mission other group. Do not please do that. Those who are involved in that, do not send to the group, but directly to me. I will try all my best to resolve your doubts. But your doubts should be very relevant, focused, and relevant to the text we are discussing. Clarity will emerge as we move forward. So we pray, Lord Guru Ayappan, that we will be able to move on this journey of spiritual transformation with full His grace and in an uninterrupted manner in the years to come. Narayana. Now we are moving on to the verse number 2. Last time it was mentioned that Samaye Kalu, at the same time, Kardama was born from the shadow of Brahma. At that time here means when Swayambhu Manu was remembering and narrating the glory of Lord, which you saw in the previous verse. He was engaged for more than 31 crores years, even years he was there. So engaged there. So during that time it is mentioned. The time is very important because that time itself is very auspicious. So at that time, when Swayambhu Manu was narrating the glory of the Lord, Kardama was born from the shadow of Brahma. See, we have seen earlier also many rishis were born from the various aspects, from various angas of the Brahma. Here he was born from the shadow of Brahma. Therefore, Kardama is nothing but the reflected aspect of the Brahma himself. And therefore, he was keenly interested in the creation. So, Brahma was born from Vishnu. So, both Kardama and Brahma are only Paramatma Tattva. Swarupa is indicated here. So, it is very natural that Kardama, being the shadow of Brahma, also had keen intent in the creation aspect. Hence, the Sargavasana, the tendency or inclination for creation, is naturally present. That is to be seen here. Then, Lord Swarupa is charming or beauty was brought out. So, Kardama worshipped the Lord for 10,000 years, for a long period, implying that the creation cannot be done without the Satsatkarya or of the Ishvara, or the Saundarya of the Ishvara, which is mentioned here as a basis for worship for a long period. So without tapas, this exalted aspect of creation is not possible. So he was keenly interested in creation, and he thus worshipped the Lord through his benign smile. Nature is smile and beauty. And on that aspect he dwelt upon, and he worshipped the Lord for 10,000 years. And another thing which is brought about also, that this is as per the at the command of Brahma, or as desired or ordained by Brahma. So Brahma's, to fulfill the wishes of the Brahma as ordained by him, he indulged in the worship or in the tapas of the Lord for 10,000 years. That's how it is mentioned here. Now we'll move into the verse number 3. Garudopari kalameghakamram vilasatkeli saroja pani padmam asitollasitananam vibhotvam vapura vishkurushe sma kardamaya. Garudopari kalameghakamram vilasatkeli saroja pani padmam asitollasitananam vibhotvam vapura viskurushe sma kardamaya. And we are like this. Vibho tvam garudopari kala mega kambram vilasat keli saroja pani padmam hasitollasi tananam vapuhu kardamaya abishkurushe sma. This is the Anvaya. Now let us look at the meaning. Vibho, O Lord, who is a Vibhu. Vibho means the one who is all pervasive, one who is mightier. Garudopari, on Garuda, Kala Megha Kambram. Megha is the cloud, Kala is the dark. Kambram, so the rain-bearing cloud, as beautiful as the dark rain-bearing cloud. Kambram is the beauty aspect about here. Bilasat Keli Saroja Pani Padmam. Pani Padmam, so holding in this lotus hand, Bilasad Keli. Keli here means as though in a sporting manner. Bilasat, the shining lotus, Saroja. So holding in the lotus hand a shining lotus. Then Hasitollasi Tananam, with thy face lit up by a smile. Hasitaha means smile. Ananam is the face. Vapuhu, the form. Kardamaya, to Kardama. Abishkurushe sma, thou did manifest. Abishkuru means manifest. O Lord, thou did appear before Kardama, sitting on Garuda, as beautiful as a dark rain-bearing cloud, holding a lotus in thy hand, and thy face lit up by a smile. Here we should understand here that the previous verse mentioned that Kardama was worshipping the Lord or doing tapas for the Lord for 10,000 years, focusing on the beauty aspect, the Lord's Saundarya. And therefore your Lord also appeared as beautiful, in a beautiful manner is unfolded here. It should be understood that the Lord always appears in the form in which you meditate. So here the Lord appeared in the form in which Kardama had been meditating on him. The idea is that God takes the form which the devotee attributes to him. He himself in his Swarupa is formless. This is how he fulfills the wishes or devotee of the desire of the devotees. So here also Kardama was pleased when the Lord manifested, because he was looking very beautiful in his appearance. That's how this verse is. We'll delve on it a little more here. I think we'll go into it in the next session as we are running out of time. Bhave yada bhaktihi padayostabhajayade tada kurusha devesha natastam no yatah prabho nama sankirtanam yasya sarva bhava pranasanam pranamo dukkha samanaha tam namami harim param. Narayana Akila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Hari Om. या देवी स्तूयते नित्यं विबुधैर्वेदपारगैः सा मे वसतु जिह्वाग्रे ब्रह्मरूपा सरस्वती। नमामि नारायणपादपङ्कजं करोमि नारायणपूजनं सदा वदामि नारायणनामनिर्मलं स्मरामि नारायणतत्त्वमव्ययम्. Invoking the grace of Goddess Saraswati, Guru Ayappan, Mahaperiyava and Guru Paramara, we are now on verse number on Dasakam 14, Canto 3. We completed the reading of the verse as well as the literal meaning of the verse. Here it was mentioned the Lord is addressed as Hey Vibho. Vibho means one who is omnipervasive, omnipotent, almighty, all-powerful, etc. And who is the Sarva Bhakta also, who is also the devotee of all, who is the Lord of all, The Lord is manifested before Kardama, who did tapas for 10,000 years. And when he manifested, he appeared in a very beautiful form and having 4 unique features. One, Lord was Garudopari, sitting on Garuda, the vehicle of the Lord. Secondly, he was as beautiful and lustrous as a dark rain-bearing cloud. It was mentioned here as Nila Megha Shyamala. Thirdly, he was holding a beautiful or shining lotus in a sportive manner in his lotus-like hand. Vilasat Kali Sarojapani Padmam. And lastly, his face was lit up with an enchanting smile. Neela or dark blue color represents the luster or tejas of the Lord. The benign smile represents the purity on account of tapas of Kardama. Lotus represents the Sahasrara aspect of the Kundalini Yoga, we can say, which is the abode of or the source of creation. It also symbolizes the limitlessness and knowledge aspects of the Lord. Garuda and cloud represents the Akasha Tattva, which is also all-pervasive and limitless. So Kardama, therefore, with intense tapas, could get the Sakshatkara or actualization of the Lord as both as Nirguna and Saguna Brahman in and outside respectively. Overall, the Lord appeared in a very enchanting and beautiful manner, that is devoted by the word Saundarya, which was meditated upon by Kardama for the purpose of creation. In this connection, one could recollect the Dasakam verse number 3 of Dasakam 2, where the Lord's glory was talked about. It was mentioned that Yat Trailokya Mahiyasobi Mahitam Sammohanam Mohanad Kandam Kanti Nidhanadobi Maduram Madurjatodabi Saundaryotardobi Sundarataram Tadrupam Ascharyadopi Ascharyam Bhuvanena Kasyakutukam Pushnate Vishnobhyo. Dasaka 2, which talked about the form of the Lord, where it is mentioned that, O Lord, you are greater than the greatest object in all the 3 worlds. You are more enchanting than the most enchanting. Mahiyasobi Mahitam Sammohanam Mohanade. You are Kantam Kanti Nidhanadopi. More enchanting than the most enchanting, more brilliant than the most brilliant. Kantam. Madhuram Madhurya Duryadapi. Sweeter than the sweetest. And lastly he says Saundaryotardovi Sundaradharam. More beautiful than the most beautiful. Ascharyadopi Ascharyam. More wonderful than the most wonderful. Niratisayaha ityartham. In this the Lord was mentioned, the comparative degree was given to the superlative degree. More beautiful than the most beautiful means the Lord is absolute, beauty is absolute. Like that all the forms were talked about. When the Lord, the word Bhagavan itself, as we have seen earlier, that Bhagam Yasya Asti iti Bhagavan in Vishnu Purana it was mentioned, he has got samagram in absolute measure, all the 6-fold qualities in terms of Viryam, capacity to create, Jnanam, in terms of knowledge, in terms of vairagyam, dispassion, in terms of yashas, fame, Sri, absolute wealth, and Aishwaryam, absolute overlordship. Everything is absolute with the Lord. So that Lord is a Niradishayaha. That Lord was meditated by his tapasva, by Kardama in his tapas, and he meditated on the beauty of the Lord, and the Lord appeared in this manner, in a beautiful form, as described in verse number 3. With this now we go to verse number 4. स्तुवदे पुलकावृताय तस्मै मनुपुत्रीं दयितां न वापि पुत्रीः कपिलं च सुतं स्वमेव पश्चात् स्वगतिं चाप्यनुगृह्य निर्गतो भूः. अन्वय स्तुवते पुलकावृताय तस्मै मनुपुत्रीं दयितां नवपुत्रीः अपि स्वम् एव कपिलं सुतं च पश्चात् स्वगतिं च अनुगृह्य निर्गतः अभूः. Stuvate, who was praising thee, Pulakavritaya, with horripilation all over the body, means thrilled. Tasmai, to him, that means to Kardama, Manuputrim, the daughter of Manu, Devahuti, Dayitam, as wife, Navaputrihi api, and 9 daughters, Swam eva, thyself, Kapilam, Sutam cha, as his son Kapila, Paschat, finally, Swagatim cha, union with the liberation also, Anugrihya, blessing with, Nirgataha abuhu, thou did depart. Thou did bless Kardama, who being very thrilled or wonderstruck, Ascharyadopi Ascharyam we can see here, was praising thee, telling him that he would get Devahuti, the daughter of Manu, as his wife, and 9 daughters through her, that thou thyself would be born as his son Kapila, and that finally he would then attain liberation, and thereafter thou did depart. This is the meaning of the verse. Seeing Lord manifested before him in a very divine and beautiful form, Kardama obviously being thrilled that he experienced horripilation all over the body was mentioned here. Pulaka Vritaya. He started extolling the Lord, praising the Lord, and prostrating him. So Lord blessed him in again 4-fold manner. He first said he would get Devahuti, who is the daughter of, she is the daughter of Manu and Shatarupa. She is a virtuous daughter because the tapas is purity. So the daughter also here is Devahuti, who is maybe the wife of Kardama. He said he would get Devahuti as his wife. Secondly, 9 daughters would be born through him, and Lord himself would be born as his son Kapila. Kapila again is the avatar of the Lord. So the Lord in all his beauty is going to be born to him as his son. And finally, fourthly, he said he would be liberated or gain union with the Lord. So here again we can see that it is the intense tapas of the Kardama, which was like a Kamadhenu for him, that propelled the Lord to appear before him and grant him both worldly happiness, which is pravritti, and spiritual liberation, which is nivritti. Because Kardama came born through the shadow of Brahmaji, was in for creation, therefore initially he was in samsara. So he was in the pravritti marga, and thereafter, since he was doing tapas, the ultimate goal of tapas is to gain salvation, gain liberation, and gain union with the Lord. Therefore the Lord blessed him that finally you will be liberated. Swagatim chapi. So thereafter the Lord departed. This is how the verse ended. We will now go into the verse number 5. Samanuhu shatarupaya mahishya gunavatya sutaya cha devahutya bhavadirita naradhopadishtaha samagat kardama magati pratiksham. Samanuhu bhavadirita naradopadishtaha. The vyutpatti will be bhavata iritena प्रेरितेन नारदेन उपदिष्टः महिष्या शतरूपया सह गुणवत्या सुतया देवहूत्या च आगति प्रतीक्षम could be seen as agatim pratikshate iti tam kardamam samagat. This is how the Anvaya is. Meaning is saha manuhu, that Manu bhavadirita naradopadishtaha. Bhavata iritena means being advised by Narada, who was prompted by the Bhavata iritena. Naratena upadishtaha means advised by Narada. Preritena bhavata, prompted by you. Mahishya Shatarupya, along with his queen Shatarupaya, Mahishya Shatarupaya Saha, Gunavatya Sutaya Devahutya cha, and daughter Devahuti of great virtue, Agati Pratiksham, who was expecting their arrival. Kardama, Samagad, approached or met, like that we can take. Meaning will be Manu being advised by Narada at thy prompting, went along with his queen or wife Satarupa and virtuous daughter Devahuti to Kardama, who was expecting them. Here in continuation of verse 4, it is mentioned here, Lord Narada, who was in Brahmavarta, which is the abode of Brahma Rishis, which is in the north of India, they say. And Vyasa's Gurukulam, the place of learning, also was in that place. So such a Narada who was in that place, to south of that place it is called Naimisharanya. This is the place called Brahmavarta, the location of this place. Narada was seated there. Narada, who may Trikalajnaha, means who knows all the things which is happening, and who is a Deva Rishi, he was prompted by the Lord, or he got the insight or intuition from the Lord, and therefore approached Manu and advised Manu to offer his daughter Devahuti, the virtuous daughter Devahuti, to Kardama Prajapati. Accordingly, Manu, along with Queen Satarupa and the virtuous daughter Devahuti, went to Kardama, who was expecting them. Here again we could see that Kardama, because of his tapas, got the virtuous daughter Devahuti. So that is how it is being described here. And the verse number 6, when we go to continuation, Manuno Pakritam cha Devahutim Taruniratnamavapya Kardamosau Bhavadarchana Nirvruto Pitasyam Tridasurshanaya Dadhau Prasadam. Manuno Pakritam cha Devahutim Taruniratnamavapya Kardamosau Bhavadarchana Nirvruto Pitasyam Tridasurshanaya Dadhau Prasadam. Asau Kardamaha cha Manuna Upakritam Taruniratnam Devahutim Avapya Bhavadarchana Nirvrataha api, that is Bhavadarchanena Nirvrataha Tushtaha, that's how the Vyutpati will be. Drida Susrushanaya Tasyam Prasadam Dadhau. Asau Kardamaha cha, that Kardama then, Manunam Upakritam, given respectfully by Manu, Taruni Ratnam Devahutim, Devahuti, a gem among women, Avapya, having got, Bhava Darchana Nirvritaha api, though content with worshipping thee, Drida Susrushanaya, because of her dedicated service, Tasyam Prasadam Dadhau, was pleased with her. Meaning, having got as wife Devahuti, a gem among women, who was given to him respectfully by Manu, Kardama, though ever content with worship of thee alone, became pleased with her because of her dedicated service to Him. More in the next session. Bhave bhave yada bhaktihi padayostava jayate tata kurusha devesha natastvam no yatah prabhu nama sankirtanam yasya sarva bhava pranasanam pranamo dukkha samanaha tam namami harim param narayana akila guru bhagavan namaste. Hari Om.